Jesus Christ, what a way to start a video. You know, just as I'm pushing start, I hear my dog outside the door and it sounds like he's throwing up. So when I'm finished with this, I have dog vomit to deal with. Thank you so much, Smokey. He's out there. You might hear him off camera. Eating something you have no business eating, as usual, Smokey. All right, the show must go on. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind besides the dog vomit on the other side of that door. All right, guys, listen. I saw this article, and I want to share it with you because some of you might be wondering, hey, how's Alden Ehrenreich doing these days? Alden Ehrenreich. Does anyone remember Alden Ehrenreich? Let me refresh your memory. Alden Ehrenreich was the guy who tried to step into Harrison Ford's footsteps, and he wanted to play young Han Solo, or he attempted to play young Han Solo to questionable results. All right, so you know he's been kind of quiet lately. You know this, has seriously, I understand, kind of derailed his career. I did a video about that a while ago, but anyway, he's speaking up and he's saying that you know what. It wasn't as bad as people say it was. As far as the money that it made, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't like it was a total bomb. It was okay. But, okay. Everyone knows that Solo, unfortunately, now has the distinction of being like the only Star Wars movie that like totally tanked. All right. And that's what they're talking about when they say totally tanked. What they mean is that it totally tanked as far as expectations. You know what I mean? It was supposed to make a ton, much more money than it ended up making, because everyone knows Star Wars is supposed to be this, avalanche of money. No matter what you do, it's supposed to make a bunch of money. All right, so they went in and they made Solo, and it didn't live up to expectations, and it has this distinction now of being that Star Wars movie that totally bombed. But Alden is saying that that's misleading, all right? So I have this article here on screenrant.com, and Alden says here, the headline, Alden Ehrenreich calls out misleading coverage of Solo's box office. And he goes on to say, Alden Ehrenreich, who played a young Han Solo in Disney's 2018 standalone movie Solo, says media coverage distorted the movie's box office numbers. It's a conspiracy. That's what I always say. Get Alex Jones in here. Get Alex Jones on the phone. We got one right here. All right? But how long, people? How long? Sheeple, take off the blinders. All right? Solo did not do as bad as you think it did. You've been lied to. All right, so it says here, Alden Ehrenreich, who played a young Han Solo in Disney's 2018 standalone Star Wars movie, Solo! Oh, it's like every time you say that, you got to say it like Maz Kanata. All right, it says media coverage distorted the movie's box office numbers. The 2018 film was up against it from the start. Fans took umbrage at the recasting of Han Solo and Lando Calrissian with younger actors Ehrenreich and Don Glover, replacing Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams, respectively. At the same time, many questioned the very need for a movie exploring the rogue's origins in the first place. I remember a lot of people saying, who needs this? You know what I mean? And honestly, I feel the same way, especially now that we know the so-called fate of Han Solo. If you believe these Disney movies, why go back? Because, even if you make it seem like he had a great time and it was just something so compelling, it just compounds the tragedy of how our hero, one of my all-time favorites in Star Wars, ended up meeting his fate. All right? So I was like, who cares? A Han Solo story is done to hear Disney tell it. Things only got worse after the directors who were initially hired, Hall and Oates, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, were unceremoniously fired from the project for taking too many risks. Veteran director Ron Richie Cunningham Opie Howard was brought in to complete the movie and reshot much of what had already been put in front of the cameras. Unfortunately, fan reception to the film was not good, and that's putting it lightly. And there are some people out there, by the way, who says that it was a decent movie. For my part, I went on record years ago of saying I really didn't care if Solo was good or not. After The Last Jedi, Disney had to pay, and that's how I felt about it. Disney, Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, Roundhead Johnson, J.J. Abrams, all of them had to pay. And if it were up to me, Solo wouldn't have made negative $2,000 for what they did to the characters in the franchise that I've loved since I've been a child. All right. Compared to The Force Awakens, wait a minute. Unfortunately, fan reception to the film was not good. It ended up making just under $400 million at the box office. Compared to The Force Awakens and Rogue One, the previous two Star Wars efforts produced by Disney, which both made over $1 billion each, those numbers are woeful. Even more so when you factor in the high budget for Solo, reported to be north of $275 million once reshoots had to be factored in. However, speaking to Total Film, Ehrenreich says he still believes that the media distorted the numbers to make Solo appear to fail. Calling the need, and there goes that downvote. Okay, you downvote this. All right, calling the need for attention-grabbing headlines dangerous. The actor says that the media focused too much on comparing Solo to the other Star Wars movies rather than movies outside the franchise. Well, it is a Star Wars movie. It was supposed to be, right? So why wouldn't you put it in that context, Ehrenreich? I'm sorry. You might have performance anxiety, but these films are supposed to be in the same gift set, you know what I mean, somehow. You know, they're part of the same George Lucas universe. So yeah, you're going to have to perform, Alden. I'm sorry. All right, you can read his full comments below. All right, and Alden goes on to say, Solo didn't do as well as the other Star Wars movies, but it still did well for a movie. I know, Alden doesn't talk that way, but he didn't get an acting coach for nothing. So as usual, I go over the top. And Alden goes on to say, and so it was this kind of medium thing, but that's not newsworthy. Even at high-level journalism, there's an intense pressure sometimes, it feels like, to either catastrophize or celebrate. And I think that's really fucking dangerous. Language, Alden, language. You see, that's the problem right there. You don't see people dropping the F-bomb in Star Wars, Alden. You don't belong here. Now, come on, man. Clean yourself up. People talk about me. And he says, and I think that's really fucking dangerous, especially when it pertains to the stuff that really matters, like the state of the world. Okay, we're talking about Star Wars here, bro. It's like, why are you bringing up the state of the world? It's like, if you want to make a statement about the state of the world in the media, then, you know, you go on and do that, like a lot of other self-important wannabe celebrities, you know what I'm saying? But you don't kind of try to equate that to caring about Star Wars, because Star Wars is escapism, you know what I mean? So it really doesn't go together. You know, I can understand if you want to, in the recesses of your own mind, you want to draw those types of parallels and comparisons. But bro, that doesn't excuse your movie from performing as a Star Wars movie. You are playing Han Solo, one of the most iconic characters in the history of film. All right, you don't get to do that, bro. You don't get to say, just judge it like it was some other movie. What do you mean? Like emojis? You want us to judge it like emojis? Is that it? You're supposed to be held to a higher standard. But anyway, going on. In article headline, it says things are complicated and there are good sides and bad sides. Isn't getting the emotional response. And I think we really have to take a step back and give a lot more thought to the way our emotions are being run by the stories we're getting inundated with. All right, now I read that all crazy, but basically what he's saying, like seriously, is that there are more important things, all right? And we have this tendency to see things as either all the way good or all the way bad. I think what he's trying to say is that you have to start seeing things as, it's like a medium. It's like shades of gray, you know? He's saying that Solo, it wasn't like a classic, but he's saying it wasn't like a terrible thing either. He's saying, I'm right here in the middle. I'm average, you know what I mean? Take me as I am, folks, you know, is basically what he's saying. You know, we did the best we could. So anyway, while one can understand Ehrenreich's sentiments, especially considering that the critical and fan the critical and the fan ambivalence the movie received was well deserved. Given that it is an entertaining blockbuster, they also need to be taken with a little pinch of salt. The film was meant to launch the actor as a star, and it didn't quite turn out that way, with him taking a break from acting following its failure. Actually, that is true. It's like I actually didn't want to put him out there like that, but Alden Ehrenreich, he's actually my dog walker right now. All right, and Alden, you know, if you're seeing this video, bro, you got to get better with picking up the shit, bro. It's like I got neighbors out here who are telling me you're just leaving it out on the ground. Pick up the shit, Alden. All right. So anyway, I mean, applaud me. It's like I'm keeping him employed. You know what I mean? It's like I think that I deserve some type of credit for that. Alden, I do care about you. It's like it might seem like I'm clowning you here, but bro, who's putting a couple of dollars in your pocket, bro? That's me. Okay. So I think I have the right to actually say this. All right. Just pick up the poop. That's all I'm asking. All right, so it was meant to launch him as a star. It didn't work out that way, but he's a star to me. All right, so he's only now reappearing to star in the Peacock's TV adaptation of Brave New World. Thus, there might be more to his comments than meets the eye. Besides, when one looks at the numbers objectively, there's no doubt the box office for Solo was disappointing. I mean, they're going on to kind of they're going on to kind of prove that Solo did lose money. And of course, all of us Star Wars fans, we know this because a lot of us were so badly turned off by what Disney Lucasfilm has done to Star Wars. We just didn't go out, man. It's like I know plenty of people at work who actually defended The Last Jedi who didn't go to see Solo. It just, I never saw anything like that before. You know what I mean? It's like they're just turned off to it. You know, whether or not they're boycotting or making a statement, the enthusiasm is just not there. I mean, there was a day when opening for a Star Wars movie was a huge event. You know what I mean? People got dressed up and, you know, the energy surrounding it was just off the charts, you know, but now it's just not like that, you know, so there is no denying that. Alden, I do understand why you're saying what you're saying. You know, you just don't want to accept that, you know, you're just going to be a very bad chapter in Star Wars history. And it's not because of you personally, my friend. I think you did try. You know, I feel bad for you. I wouldn't want to be swept up in something like that. You know, you did your job to the best of your ability. And unfortunately, because of the way that things are being run at Disney Lucasfilm, it turned out the way it turned out. It really doesn't have much to do with you. You were just a guy who tried to take a check when you shouldn't have, because you know goddamn well that you're no Harrison Ford. But, you know, it is what it is. And if I were you, I would just keep my head down, get into making Brave New World, you know, walk my dog, pick up the poop like I told you to before, and, you know, get on with your life, bro. It'll be okay, all right? But there's no denying Solo lost money. And for all those people crying for Solo 2, well, you should have seen Solo 1, okay? Because, you know, all your cries and stuff like that, you can't prove it by the amount of people who went to see it. All right, guys, so what do you think? I mean, am I wrong? I mean, were you one of those people who went out and saw it? And when you went out and saw it, did you see massive amounts of crowds out there? I mean, was it making a good amount of money? I don't know. You know, he's saying it's a media conspiracy, but, you know, I always trust the average everyday person. All right, so get in the comment section. Let me know what you saw and report back to us. And as always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. And follow me on Twitter. You know, I'm going to leave that link in the description box below. And all right, guys, that's it for now. I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. As a matter of fact, Alden, go pick up that dog vomit, please. Yeah, let me get him on the phone. All right, guys, rock on.